Everybody, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I am so pumped up about today's subject because I think it's going to connect with a lot of you out there who somehow deep on the inside of you, there's a passion to do something. Or let me just put it this way, the passion to become, if you will, whomever God has ordained you to become that entrepreneur, to become, perhaps a successful person in business or in ministry or in education, in government. Well, I've got the perfect guest here today, a man who has proven himself that God can take you from the bottom and bring you to the top. We've become great friends over the years. And Hilly Hepburn, welcome to the podcast, man.
Yes, thank you very much, Bishop. It's my pleasure to be here.
Man, I'm excited about this because I think the people out there need to hear this. There's a young man listening right now. There's a young woman listening, and they've got the urge to do something,
Right.
to become something. Let's talk about faith in business.
Right.
You're a businessman, and you'll talk a little bit more about your business. But did faith play a role in getting you where you are today?
Definitely, since the inception of the business, and when I made the decision to be 100% entrepreneur, I had business investments and I did some dabbling, sort of like a trial and error thing to see if maybe I can be good at this or that. And then at 28, I went all in. And when I went all in, if you know me, I never made a move, especially when I was younger, without seeking consultation from my mom. And
Who's a prayer warrior in a way?
right,
She
right. So
believed
that
that
she's the
woman's a serious
intercessor,
prayer
right?
warrior. Right,
Exactly. So it was, I went there and I said, listen, I think I want to go all in. I'm going to leave the company that I'm with and I want to start out my own company. And I just need you to come in alignment with me. If two agree, then it's impossible for us to fail. So she reverted to me with a scripture, Psalms 118. And she said to me, read this and read it every day. And when you read it, pray, understand it and pray. And I just felt so connected to the scripture, especially the verse of scripture that spoke of the stone that the builder rejected becoming the cornerstone. And I felt that way because in our industry, you didn't see too many young people, first and foremost, and secondly, Bahamians, because the industry is based on foreign clientele and it's foreign based. It's local, but all clients are foreign. And most persons that succeeded in the business would have had some experience internationally doing business. And here I was, a local boy that had no experience internationally, but I had made some good connections over the years in my capacity in the industry. And I prayed and I just had this confidence. Like I felt like we had already succeeded before we commenced. I felt like we were.
You felt that was in you.
Yeah, it was in me. I felt that we were without feeling entitled. I felt like we were owed this opportunity, but more better so, we deserved the opportunity, and that the opportunity was going to come. And we set out with a small vision to make or to net at least 30, 40K a month. Is a small vision. I mean, it's really small. Like
Right.
just pay some bills and could save a couple dollars and take care of my children. And it just blew into something. And my accountant actually, well, she's now our consultant because she's pretty much retired. She started the company with me. And it started in my son's bedroom. We kicked him out of the bedroom. And I started in his bedroom at my house. And she said to me the other day, she said that the company has now outgrown us. So far, we have to catch up. And I love it because, again, with every step we made, sometimes, I saw a saying recently that said that you may be wishing for, let's just say, a house, but God may have a bigger plan for you. He may want to give you an actual hotel. Or he might want to give you something just so much bigger than what you're actually wishing for. And so that's pretty much where we're at now. We have business clients coming in. We have strategic partners coming in. And we're getting into industries that we had not thought about.
Right.
So now in order for us to facilitate these international global clients, I have to now, in all honesty, step up my game.
Right.
And step
Right.
up the game of everybody around us and bring new people in with the experience.
But put a pause on that, because I had to pull my phone and write
Right.
some stuff, because
Right.
you've said some powerful things
Right.
in your statement. Number one, I want to go back to what you said, how you had to come in alignment with your mom,
Right.
and your mom come in alignment with you. Funny enough, this is the year
Right.
of strategic alignment.
Yes.
This is what we
Right,
say at our
right,
church here.
Right.
And because I really want our viewers to really understand that the success that they're craving after, they can't do it alone.
Exactly.
Number one. So when God gave you this vision, starting Elnet and so forth, you went to your mom and you said you have to come in alignment. Speak a little bit about that. How important, Ellie, it is for people to find like-minded people
Right.
who believe in their vision,
Right.
believe in, because your mom could have said, boy, go sit down.
Right. Right.
You know, I'm from the islands too.
Yeah,
My mom would say, boy, go sit
exactly.
down.
And she's a school teacher, so
Right.
she's career-based.
How important is alignment?
Yeah, alignment is super important. Some years ago, I had this quote that I would say, like-minded associations only. So when I didn't create it, I heard it actually at an event. And I started using it because it was like, okay, all that means is that the same way, don't be unequally yoked, right? If you,
Right.
you know, in the church. And my thing was, I want to be around people that have the same goals and visions. So I started creating and writing down stuff that I wanted and the type of people that I wanted to hang out with
Right.
and be around. And earlier this year, I said something along the lines like my like-minded alignment is ambition, ambitious people. People that are ambitious, but not just ambitious, because you have some people that are ambitious towards the wrong thing.
Right.
But they do have energy. They just need to probably be,
Redirected.
guided into the right
Right.
direction. And I believe that alignment is super important, because there are those moments when you may yourself be discouraged. There are those moments where you may yourself say, okay, you know what, maybe this doesn't make sense, but we're all on the same page, so we're a team. So if we're in full alignment, then definitely you won't allow me to be out of sync for
Right.
too long. And I would say to my mom, listen, this is our agreement. You pray and I go. Right? So while you praying, I'm out there in the world in the meetings. I would call her when I went to visit our first set of clients out in Texas, I would call her, okay, I'm going into this meeting now. These are the persons that expect to be in the meeting, but it may be a miscellaneous one or two. And she would pray for my get in until I call her when I get out the door.
So, Ellie, let's segue into this right now. Tell us about what you do. Who is Elnet? What it's all about?
Okay, so our company is called Elnet Maritime, created and formed in 2008. I myself personally was in the maritime industry since the age of 16. Part-time summer job as a stevedore, working at the cruise lines, moving luggage. And then by the age of 18, I made the decision to not go to school right away, but to get into the industry full-time. I became a ship agent, started off as a cruise ship agent. Then I started dealing with tankers, little custom brokerage, trucking, logistics, freight forwarding. Elnet Maritime is this maritime company that touches on all of those different areas. So we're ship agents, which means that oil vessels, cruise vessels, any vessels you see moving on the ocean, our company can handle them as agents. Now, what a ship agent does is a ship agent does everything a ship owner would do if he himself could be in every single port. So you have to be very knowledgeable of the port, knowledgeable of the rules and regulations. From the ship arrives until the ship sails, you're responsible. So there's a saying in this industry called husbandry. Well, the ship is a lady, so you have to be the husband of the ship until the ship gets in, until the ship leaves. Right. In the case of an oil tanker, you have a ship owner and you have a ship charterer. So you have oil companies that charter the vessel that would nominate your company. And then you have the owner of the ship that has to deal with owner's matters, such as crew changes, such as provisions, medical, just anything to do with the ship while she's in port is your responsibility. Now, from the customs brokerage and the logistics end, that's the importation and exportation of shipments, clearing goods, providing goods to local consumers, in addition to transitioning stuff, freight forwarding it all around the globe. and we dabble a little bit in trucking and somewhat, not too much, but maybe in the future we will.
I'm very encouraged that, thank God you had a mother
Right.
who was by your side in alignment with your vision.
Right.
You can tell she was a good mom in the sense that she pushed you. And I love what you said, that you told her, you pray while I go.
Yep.
She stood in her place because she knew probably she was not gifted to go.
Right, exactly.
She didn't know the business, but she knew she could outpray you.
Yeah, definitely. To this day, like to this day.
And she gonna be listening to this too. She can outpray
Right,
you.
definitely.
So that's good. I want to go back to another statement you mentioned. And you said the person who helped started the business with you, she said to you, Elnet is so far ahead of you, you got to play catch up.
Yeah.
I really want the listeners to understand this, that sometimes the gift that God has placed in us, the calling that's on our lives, that sometimes we can either procrastinate or become so complacent
Right.
that the level of our success has gone so far
Right.
that we're behind here.
Yep.
We have to play catch up. I want us to speak on that because we're talking about faith in business here. You established that prayer, the Word of God, had a lot to do with where you are today. But how can we, Ellie, avoid having our success to get too far ahead of us and we're lagging behind? What can we do?
The thing is, you have to constantly, you have to stay committed to it, because like incomes 2013, around that time, I got married, then I moved to Florida because my wife, she preferred to be here rather than there, because kids, education, just all the opportunities and whatnot. So she and I were going to live in the Bahamas, and my mother-in-law was staying here with the kids. And then I realized like there was something missing with her. So I said, okay, we'll all go. So I'm here now, and I'm not as connected because I'm seeing other opportunities. And I would say from 2014 to 2016, the company maintained based on the momentum that we had already created in the first few years. In addition to that, I was still involved, but I was not fully involved. All right? So there were opportunities that were coming there for us and opportunities that were available for us we did not take advantage of.
Because you weren't involved.
It wasn't involved.
So the first thing is we got to get involved.
We have to, and we got to stay involved. Now, I recall saying to my wife in 2015, we were having a conversation, and I said to I'm just not connected. This version of me could not have started Elnet. And so I'm 35 at the time. I started the company at 28. And I'm saying this version of me right now, all I want to do is just have fun. I want to be on my boat. I want to travel. But I didn't do this in my 20s. So it's like some who knew me were like, listen, you're still doing a good job, but you deserve it. I'm at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning at work, take a shower, sleep for an hour, take a shower, and back to work type person. So, but I wasn't connecting to it at all. And then, in 2017, going into 2018, I was like, I just turned 38, and I'm like, next year, December, I'll be 40. So now it's time to get back locked in. I did some investments, some worked, some didn't work. It was all cool. Only thing beats failing is trying. It's all, like you said earlier, college. So I got locked back in 100% with the business, and I had a meeting with my staff. Every year we have an AGM, an annual general meeting in January. So when I met with them, I said to them, I was like, I owe you guys an apology because some of you I don't even know. In the office only had about 15 persons, 20 persons, right? And I'm like, the old me wouldn't have done that to you. And I do feel like some of you have way more potential that we've been able to pull out of you, because some managers are okay. They're complacent already.
Right.
They need that person on the team to push them. And that person is me. And trying to separate them. And it's a misconception when you see this boss on television leg on the desk, kicked up, crossed, and not somewhere on a yacht, just doing business and everything's going great. That's a lie. It doesn't happen. Every business person that I know is connected to their business. People would say, people who've never had a business would tell me, no, you lock in too much sometimes. You got to be able to set it up in such a way where you could leave it for a year. How? You will be done.
Done.
I don't care who you are.
Right.
You will be
that's
done.
See, and you're speaking to a lot of people, and I can, sanction what you just said. Even as a pastor, I recognize that.
Right.
That at the end of the day, you have to invest.
Yes,
in it.
that
You
time.
have to be involved.
That's the resource. That's the most
That's
valuable.
it. If you take yourself out of it,
Yeah.
it's like a friend of mine said to me one time. He said, at the end of the day, people can love your children, but they can never take care of your children
The
like
way you would. Exactly. Perfect example. And I always use the metaphor, like Elnet's my baby. She's going to be 15 this year. So she's like, so I had this meeting and I apologized to my staff. And I said, like, moving forward, however, we're going to evolve and we're going to rapidly evolve. So I came up with this theme, stepping into a new dimension. And so we went super hard. And we started going after new business. We started looking at businesses that we had started and we had licenses for that pretty much were dormant. I don't believe in killing any dream. I believe that maybe today is not the right day, but tomorrow would be. So definitely we're going to come back to that. We don't kill it. We put it to sleep. Right. All right? Just for a while, and then we come back. So we started going at other old opportunities, communicating with persons we had spoken to years ago about different things they wanted to do. And then we start, and we try to do too in Maritime is create industries. Like there's a service that we provide called offshore lightering that wasn't provided. I was a part of the group that went to the government to get it regulated and to be able to provide it. So here it is now. Other companies can benefit off of a service that was non-existent. Right. And so I think that's our job in the industry. So I went in on just trying to expand it. And then the love for it came. And then my wife asked me this day, she said, could this version of you have started this? I said, this version of me could have started 10 of these.
Wow.
This version of me, as a matter of fact, could run the whole island. Like, I'm ready for whatever challenge.
Because you have the passion
I have the passion for it again. I'm reconnected. And so you have to stay connected to it. Mm-hmm. So like myself, I wouldn't get involved in something unless it's something that I believe in.
Right.
It doesn't matter how much money it could so-called generate. I've had people come to me and say, that thing that we talked to you about investing in before, like it's like they coming to me with like a nah, you could have invested. I'm like, congratulations. I could care less. I don't care if you make 200 million or sell it for $1 billion, and I'm still in the position I am in growing. I'm doing what I love. I couldn't have invested because I have to believe in it.
The passion, Ellie, and I want us to stay there for a minute because people have the tendency. You're watching and you're thinking, I want to get rich.
Right. Slavery for money.
I want to get rich and I want to have this and I want to have that. But you and I very know as business people that if you don't have the passion for it, then you will pursue something that, number one, won't bring you happiness.
Right.
Or may kill you.
Exactly.
But when you have the passion for something, people look at you and say, you make it look easy.
Right. Or they call you lucky, which is the greatest disrespect in any business. Anybody comes to me and says, I'm lucky, because verbiage is important to me. I'm that guy who's always like, so what do you mean exactly by lucky?
Lucky.
Because I don't believe in that word. That's a curse word to me.
You have to work for it.
Yeah, because that what it does, it undermines your hard work and your success.
Wow,
if you just stumble upon it.
That's good.
So you have to be careful what you let people say to you. And I remember Oprah Winfrey, I think it was, that said something along the lines like, luck is when preparation meets an opportunity collides. That's the luck, because you have to be prepared for it.
Right.
But people will look at ways in which to undermine your accomplishments.
Right. But to make the opportunity fruitful, you have to work for it.
You have to. And you have to continue to work for it.
And I appreciate that. Luck brings you to the door.
Right.
To get access in. But when you get access in, luck doesn't bring the numbers.
It doesn't.
Luck doesn't help you manage staff.
No, it doesn't.
It is your hard work. And over the years, you have labored. Yep. I'm quite sure There were some pitfalls.
Yeah.
There were some lessons you learned.
Definitely.
But you are where you are today, not because of luck, because you work your tail off.
Exactly.
Your butt off, as people
Exactly.
will say. You know, it's like here at the ministry, 32 years now.
Right.
And I remember my humble beginning.
Right.
And you talk about passion.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Right.
Man, nobody could tell me that this thing could not work.
And look at it.
I knew God, just like I knew that I had it within me.
Right.
Scared, wasn't quite sure if anybody was going to believe in me.
Right.
But Ellie, I took my eyes off the applause of the people.
Right.
And I said, God, if you're pushing me into this, I'm all in. And I'll never forget about the third Sunday, when we had about 11 people in the building. I'll never forget it. I stood up on that stage and I confessed to those people and I said, look, we're 3 weeks into our service and into our church. The name of the church was Plantation Worship Center then.
Right.
And I said, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you imagine?
Wow.
A leader.
Saying that, right. That's the
I was
greatest
humble
humility.
enough.
Yes, the greatest humility, yes.
I don't know what I'm doing, but if you're in for the ride,
Let's
go. Ride.
We're going to learn together.
And alignment
Yeah.
is like your mom. I
Right.
found some people, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
who said, okay, you go, we'll pray,
Yes.
we'll support,
Yes.
we'll labor with you. But after 32 years, Ellie,
Right.
it's hard work.
It is.
Prayer, yes. We prayed. Your mom
Yes.
prayed.
Yes.
But had you not gone into that office,
Trust me.
I'm quite sure dealing with staff do.
Yeah.
Dealing with companies, doors were closed.
Yep.
Let's talk about that. Because people think that when you have a vision, an idea, whether it's to buy a house, whether it is to open a business, whether it's to go back to school, people think just pray
Yeah.
and everything will work.
Right.
There going to be some closed doors.
Definitely.
There going to be some days, Ellie, and people may look at me and say, well, I can't believe Henry's saying that. There's some days you want to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
There's some days, man, I want to knock people
out. Yeah.
Okay,
100%.
I'm saved. I'm
Right.
trying to keep it holy.
Yeah. Yes.
Good.
I understand completely. Yeah. I've been there. And I speak
But how did you handle that, man?
But I'm still handling it. This is the thing. This is the thing. It's not handled yet. It's not handled. But it's like I got this saying: challenges create champions, right?
Okay.
And I kid you not. Okay, so you have to have the mindset that is like, some people get discouraged by starting over. I had to, at one point I started to look at the things that I hated doing the most and started to making those the things that I'm going to do no matter what, if necessary. So I don't like to start over. So sometimes you see people stay in situations longer than they should. Now we're talking about business, so I'll keep it to business, but you keep employees employed longer than they should be because you don't want to start over. We've been developing this program for X amount of time, and here it is now. This person is going through whatever, or just in a sour mood. What do? We get rid of them. We got to reset, revise, reform, rebuild. I'm always ready to start over. And I'm the type of person too. It's like there is no shame to me. Like I just believe you ultimately fail when you 100% give up. Starting over doesn't mean you fail. Falling down doesn't mean you fail. This is not a basketball game, 4 quarters and it's done, or a race, X amount of meters and it's done. No. Okay, they won today. Okay, let's keep going.
You have a season.
There's no horn that blows that said, okay, that's done. So now tomorrow when you wake up, what you gonna do? No, we're gonna keep going.
That's good.
Because we have so much opportunity. And then what I like to do too is I like to evaluate. Like every December, I do a year in evaluation. So I take like December pretty much for myself, and I have to see or look at what happened that year. I'm not focusing on the successes. I'm focusing on where did I go wrong this year? How could we improve? Because every year you have to evolve. The world changes every single year. Every single day, new technology come out. Think about it. You just buy a car last week, right? Next year this time, so that car is old. Like I remember when they were building this Porsche Tower. I had a condo in Sunny Isles, and every real estate guy that I know, Porsche Tower, Porsche Tower, Porsche Tower, Porsche Tower. You talk to them about the Porsche Tower now, the Bentley Tower, because that's coming next. But what about the Porsche Tower? You just were telling me like 2 years ago this. So it's like everybody is just keep constantly evolving. So that's why you can't just get caught up in the hype. It's all to me sometimes a gimmick, and you have to move at your pace. Don't mind the noise in the market.
Right, right.
But you know, with me, I don't know how it happens, but I'm constantly just inspired. Like I'm inspired by love. I'm inspired by hate.
Say that again?
Yeah, I'm inspired by love and I'm inspired by hate.
How are you inspired by hate?
Because obviously, like for people that come against us to try to destroy us, and to be honest with you, most cases, they're not even standing to gain anything by your demise, right? But I understand their issue. Majority of people that do that, there's not something wrong with me. There's something wrong with something that they themselves can't do right now.
That's good.
Because I've seen these same people in happy times.
That's good.
And in happy times, they love me. They love everybody. They want to celebrate. We all celebrate together. And there are bad times because things are not going good for them now. They're angry at everyone. This is how you can't take things personally. You have to better understand
that's
people.
what I wanted to get at.
Right. You got to better understand the people around you. So you're having a moment right now. I get it. So maybe I won't talk about this around you. But if you're watching, like if I'm on social media and you're watching what I'm doing and getting upset, now that's self-inflicted.
It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, self-inflicted because you went to look at it. But you understand, you went to look at it to hurt yourself.
That's good.
You know, but if you know a friend is going through something or somebody's going through something,
that's good.
You know, you would call and you would offer them support. But you know, my thing is too is I this here what I'm doing, I never really had time to do in the past. But what I've always done is I've always made a line available. I've spoken and helped to mentor and talk to, and when I say mentor, I'm not talking like I'm this person's mentor. Hit me anytime. Question, I'll answer you as soon as I get a chance. So a lot of young entrepreneurs back home would hit me and ask me certain questions about this, that, the next, and I would just give them my opinion. And the thing is, too, I like to share the challenges. If I'm having a challenging day, that's when I talk. I'm talking about like, okay, so this would happen to me. People just trying to think this, but I'm so excited, but I'm getting excited. You know, I'm Udonis Haslam when he's on the floor doing the push-ups with the blood draining down his head. You know what I'm saying? When he's letting his competitors know, okay, you just charge me up.
Yes.
You know, I'm the psycho in the movie just laughing while, you know, I'm just ready. So if you embrace the things that you don't like, which is starting over, which is the challenges, you look at it, you say, okay, this again, I don't know why it happens. I remember going to a meeting before and I mean, like it was government related, and I was with some associates that wanted me to just come there to help them with their pitch. And I remember coming out the meeting and I was super charged up. And I was like, listen, guys, what y'all trying to do, I think, is genius. But those guys who were in the room in the government destroyed them. And they were discouraged. And this was funny to me, too, because this wasn't a group of people that I supported. So these were their supposed to be friends.
Right.
And I was like, guys, y'all cannot give up. This is the time when you have to shine because you can't, like stuff like that gets me excited. When you look into my face and telling me what I'm saying makes no sense. When you staring me down and telling me like, it's impossible for you to get this done. And, you know, you feel passionate about it, but you're using your brain too, because I'm reading a book now and I got to remember the name of the book, but I started it, I read the forward, right? It talks about, how skill set trumps passion. So you could get the heart involved, but the brain too. So you don't take it personal. But at the same time, thank you for the motivation because I needed that. It were certain rules of engagement and things that were said in my industry that made me say, oh, really? Because of this, I can't be that? And Barack Obama just got ratified to be the forerunner for the presidency of the United States. This is 2008.
Right, right.
So how could you tell me that I can't own a company like this?
Wow.
And this guy, who's an African-American, right, little light-skinned than me, but he's about to become the president. We all see it coming.
So his story gave you hope.
That moment with his story, because I was already charged up. But that was one of those moments. That's why I say like motivation is everywhere. you know. And then
You just have to look for it.
Yeah, you have to look for it. And then two,
Wow.
when you're not motivated, you may see examples of reasons why you should be grateful. You know,
Well,
so you could be driving down the street and you see somebody's car broke down on the street, and their car is nowhere as nice as yours. You having a moment, but Jesus, your car is running, and you got a nice home to go to. Oh, I got some spaghetti and meatballs and some ramen noodles. I can cut that up with some hot dog, and that's prime 112. You understand? You got to find your zones.
Right.
To
You're saying some good stuff here, man. I want to piggyback on what you just said. Motivation is everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
I've never heard that before. Motivation is everywhere. Remember that. Motivation is everywhere. So no matter what life presents to you, no matter the situation you're in, if you look for the things to motivate you, what you did, I'm quite sure during the time of, Barack Obama seeking for the presidency, you had many challenges.
Yeah.
You didn't focus on the negatives.
No, I wasn't even.
And it's not that they weren't around you.
Right. No, I focused on them. I was using them for fuel. Okay, I got this thing where I would tell people, I'm not negative, I'm not positive, I'm productive. So to me, productivity is the negative charge hitting the positive charge. And that's my definition of productivity, like my analogy of it. So you need some of that negative energy, and you definitely need that love and that positive energy. So that means you're inspired by all, because when things are going too well, that's when you become lazy and complacent, because you rule the world. You're good, you're relaxed, you're zen.
Wow.
You understand? So when things are going too bad and you can't see positivity and nothing around you, then you go into a downward spiral.
So you need both.
You need both. You need you have to align.
Were you always like this?
I developed this mindset more so in my early 20s. You know, I had some challenges coming out of the gate, trying to be independent. My first business I opened at 21. And again, it's all experience. I never saw anything I did that didn't work as a failure. I would really say it's college. This is the experience that I'm having now. This didn't work. I'm talking like I had an employment agency, auto sale business, cellular phone store, and I always had a job. But these businesses I was able to manage as well too, and they all worked for a period. Right. And the reason I got rid of the business never made sense. I got tired of it. I got bored.
The passion
I couldn't passion it. My first wife and I had the employment agency. It was her thing. I didn't care about it. When she said she didn't want it anymore, I was like, okay, shut down, boom.
Wow.
Customers are calling me like, what's going on? Why would you guys shut the business down? We need employees. Wow. It was a business that was actually still being productive, but it wasn't my passion. It wasn't a thing that I liked. And that's when I developed this thing. Like, you're not going to walk away from something that you really love.
What I admired about what you're saying is the fact that because you didn't have the passion for something anymore, you didn't force it.
Right.
A lot of times what we find ourselves doing is we start something, it's working, and we try to give a dead thing life support.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
When it's okay, because you had a confidence that you weren't worried about what people think, that, oh, he failed at that, he failed at that. Right. And that's why I am so glad we're having this conversation, because I want the listeners out there to understand, until you develop self-confidence, the God factor, yes, have confidence in God.
Yes.
But it is impossible to have confidence in God and not have confidence in yourself.
Yes.
The Bible says, greater is he who is in you.
Yes.
That means in every human being,
right,
we have the potential to become.
Yes.
The potential to become.
Yes.
And until you discover that potential and believe in yourself,
right, yeah,
that God will take you from glory to glory. So that means you start that insurance agents or whatever the other companies you start, you believe that, okay, that time was the right time for it.
Right.
Then when you felt that there was no more power or zeal to do it, you were willing to move on and you didn't care what people think.
Right.
I mean, Ellie, that is something to be commended for, because a lot of people watching here, they have quit their pursuit a long time ago. They gave up because they're worried about what people think.
Yeah. Like,
they're worried about the negativity. And I have to admit to you, I didn't take negativity well a
Right.
lot. If you say something bad about me, it bothered me,
Right.
especially when it's not true.
Right. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that thing used to drive me crazy until one day, I'll never forget it. I sat down one day and I started analyzing the people criticizing me.
And try not to laugh.
And then I realized,
Try not to
and
laugh.
I know,
No.
please, I know you're gonna make bad
Yeah,
comments
yeah,
right now in
yeah,
this
sorry.
podcast, but
Sorry.
those of you who are positive,
Yeah.
I want you to feel me. I then realized all of them broke, all of them lazy, all of them ain't doing nothing with their life. I'm
nothing,
like, why am I
no-
sitting there
yeah,
worried about
nothing,
people who not
nothing,
going anywhere?
Nothing. And these
I told
are-
you, don't
yes,
be posting no
yeah,
crazy stuff
Yeah,
now.
yeah, and that's it. But this is, I did this too. I remember, if you go into my gym at my condo in Freeport, I have like there's 40 laws. Because again, remember I told you I came to this like-minded thing going to my 40th, and it talks about that. Like the thing is like, critics. Think about the life of the critic and try not to laugh. That was my saying, because it's like every time I would think about the person that's breaking me down on something, I remember somebody said something that just really angered me. And I was driving and a Bob Marley song came on and the ladies were saying something like, while you judging someone else is judging you. And I was like, hold on, wait. This is serious because, and then I started to think really deep about the person that was making this statement. And I was like, wow, I just giggled. So every time I thought about a critic, like the audacity of them, I would giggle, which means that they definitely don't qualify. And even if they qualify, none of us are out here living perfect. We all got something going on.
Right.
You know, so we should not be judging each other. You would never hear me tell anybody that say they have an idea or plan about doing a business that what they're saying is silly. It's impossible. You'd never hear me tell somebody that say that they aspire to be rich, that it's silly, that it's impossible. I don't think that you should just be chasing the money as you become a slave for money. I think that you should be chasing the dream. And that's the thing too, with the passion, it causes you to never give up. If the money is the only thing that you're chasing, like a musician, musicians love their art. So they don't care whether they're at the Madison Square Garden or they go back to the House of Blues. When they give an audience that, they give in their audience because that's their art. That's something they created. So you have to love whatever you do just the same, and you won't give up. And I can guarantee you, you may have a lull, but somebody's coming back. Like recently in December, we had a client. This client is an oil company out of India. When we started our company in 2008, the guy that was the head trader at the company, he contacted some friends in the oil business in Freeport, and he asked what company I was working for. And they told him, well, he started his own company. So he's like, perfect, connect me. So we connected to him. That company is the company that took us to the next level. And then after about a year and a half, 2 years, they left. And of course, other companies are coming in because their companies leaving, companies coming in. Well, that company just in December signed a new contract like 10 years later, and now they're back. And old relationships just keep recycling. And the word of mouth, because an industry like ours, even though it's global, there are a few players and they all speak to each other. And if they're coming to our area, they would recommend that their customers use us. And a lot of times I don't even know who sent the recommendation because we'll just get an email saying, listen, we were told by this company that we should use you. And some just say, hey, we heard that you guys are good. We want to give you an opportunity. And now we have new clients. So it keeps spreading. So I believe, then use the analogy, you plant the seed, you water it, and you fertilize it. It's impossible for something to not grow.
Wow.
It's going to grow.
Wow.
But you have to be careful on the journey, because if you're cutthroat straight through on the journey, the throat that you cut when he was at this level, in 5 to 10 years, he could have elevated. And now you have a person trying to keep you down. And that person's not a hater. That person wants revenge.
Wow.
So if you stock up enough of those, then you can still succeed, but it's going to be more difficult. And then you're 60, 70 years old and you're at war, still in business.
Right.
At that point, I'm not going to be at war.
Yeah,
It's not even that serious.
Too old for that, man.
Right. There's a saying goes, and I don't know where the saying came from. It says something like pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. So I don't know where it came from. But,
I've never heard that.
Right. But a friend of mine said it to me some years ago. And because I took them out and we were all eating, and I was like, listen, you want something? You all want something else? Some more drinks? He was like, Ellie, We just want to hang with you. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. We just want to be here. And I was like, I like that saying. But I always kept it with me because it's one of those things. Again, you got to find that balance.
Yes.
Because when you're just going after the money, now it's zero principle involved, and you're going to do some things in some cases that may even be illegal.
Right.
And then
right.
what?
Wow.
But when you're doing that, it definitely is not creating or innovating or creating history. It's just for more financial gains.
Well, Ellie, great conversation.
Yes.
You have put some perspective in the whole conversation about faith in business. You've proven yourself as a successful businessman.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to know, even as a minister, to know that your faith in God
Right.
is still relevant in your
Definitely.
business. And I just really want to say to those of you who are streaming or watching the podcast, I should say, maybe you're planning to start a business, you're already in business, perhaps you're dreaming about something, maybe to get out of debt or whatever it is. Everything that you're passionate about is all possible. Absolutely. I want you to hear me. Everything is possible. You can become your best self. It's all up to you. You have the potential. You have the potential to become great, to be successful. And that's the reason why I have put together this awesome conference. Information is right there. I want you to be a part of this Maximize Your Potential conference. I want you to get in the room. I want you to be in the environment, the place where I've put together a wealth of knowledgeable people who are gifted and have the life experience to prove it, to help you be your best self. Thanks again for joining me on the podcast, and I hope to see you next time. Peace out.